got, something. So when something's really getting us stuck in life, so like Layla, for example, with the not getting the systems, you can ring me or message me and say, oh my gosh, this is driving me up the wall. And what will happen then is I'll give you some tips and tricks. And if Layla had messaged me and said, I still haven't got the system, I would say, well, let's future pace that. And how's it going to look? How's it going to feel when you got the system? What's going to allow you to do? And then we future pace how it's going to feel and everything. That absolutely happens. And right with that note there, I want Hunter to share about how she has used the future pacing and how she's found it since the training. So away you go, Hunter.
I will first just introduce myself. I know that most of you, I've met you already, but Leanne and Layla, nice to meet you guys.
Hi.
Jane's offered me a working with her. So I'm kind of just
now I've
getting
got a
on
helper.
board. Now
Yay.
she's got help, which is very exciting. But she also offered me to do the NLP training with Dan and Judy, which I took up, and with Bede and the other guys who were in the intake. So I was actually in Sydney last week for a little holiday visiting some friends, and I found myself going through future pacing techniques with like my friends and family in Sydney, even if it was just for small things like wanting it to be a nice day tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay, so how does that feel? What does it look like for you? And, what time of day? Let's get really specific about it.
We're getting a wee therapy session.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. But not even, obviously with the intention of wanting to do better in the world. So it was kind of nice that came out quite naturally for things, for even small things like wanting to have a lovely, successful day or week ahead. But yeah,
and you said when they did it, they went, oh, all of a sudden they could see the steps they had to do to get to what they.
Yeah. So my friend Fish, she has her sisters coming to visit from the States, and she had a whole little itinerary of how she wanted the days to go. And one specific day they were going to go camping, and she wanted the weather to be very nice in this particular place. So I was like, oh, let's future pace that. So we did the exercise, and I was, feel the feeling, and then pop it up in your timeline, and what date and time did you want that to be, and then drop it in, and then going back and see all the events happen, and then float back to the now, and then come back to now. And she was like, oh, I need to write things down because there's things that I need to like check the weather and check things on the car. And she was already, once doing that future pacing exercise, she was already thinking about the steps that she needed to do in order to get that desired outcome, which is what we do.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
It's really cool to actually finish the NLP training and implement it straight away while it's still really, really fresh in your mind. And did you find other things that as your last week when you were doing things, you're aware of sensory acuity or anything else that you pick up with people?
Definitely rapport was one. Even, and it kind of I didn't want it to think like I was analyzing people, because it does feel like that when you're like, oh, I know that you're remembering something, or oh, I know that you're making this up in your head, you're constructing it, so definitely observing people a bit more in their sensory acuity was awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yippee. And now starting a new job, which is going to really get her mind expanding in this area, that's for sure. And it should be really exciting to, now that Hunter has done the training as well, is to really understand the purpose of why I do what I do, which is to empower the planet and to help everyone we connect with to make this a better place to live by just maybe acknowledging and understanding people a little bit better through communication and being able to assist. So I would like Leanne to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about you and what you've done with me so far, and what something that you might have implemented already that has helped you along the way.
Hi everyone, I'm Leanne. A bit shy. A bit about me: I am married. I have 2 teenage children, and I work for Virgin Australia in their head office, which I've been there for 20 years, and I love it mostly. I guess something that I've recently been working on with Jane is the way I always need to have my opinion heard. And in the last week, I have been just stepping back and being more quiet and being more impactful when I speak, I suppose, as opposed to just like shoving it in there because people need to know that stuff. And I've had success.
Brilliant.
Yep. So yeah, people are actually like stopping and saying, Leanne, what do you think? I think because they're like, we should have heard from Leanne by now with her opinion. And what's happening? She's quiet. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, and I forgot to thank you very much, Leanne. And Leanne's doing the silver pack as well, so doing the trainings. And I forgot to, as we introduce, what did you do prior, or where do you live? Tell us a little bit about you.
Me? I currently am living in the North Coast in a little village called Clunes. I work at a general store there, which is the post office, the grocery store, the bottle shop, and the cafe. So it's the one-stop shop in Clunes. It's the only shop in Clunes actually. So yeah, it's full of community up there, and I'm actually looking to relocate to move in with Dad, who Jody and Troy, my parents. They're also on this call. Well.
Yeah, very good. Originally from New Zealand and used to work for Maui Jim, traveling all around the world, around the South Pacific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
APAC. Yeah.
APAC. Yeah, with corporate companies who wanted sunglasses. So yeah, it was a busy job.
Yeah.
Now she's out back with one town with one store. I think it's a pretty cool thing to do.
Very much contrast.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you. And if we can jump over to Layla or Bede, if you want to unmute yourself. Who's going first? Bede, you're at the top of the list, alphabet.
Okay. What would you like me to do?
Introduce
yourself. Hi, Bede.
He's had a drink.
Stop. It was a big day.
Just one.
I'm Bede. I'm a school teacher in Pacific Pines, and I've with my lovely wife Layla, got 2 daughters, Alice and Lucy, 10 and nearly 12.
And what did you, after the NLP training, what did you notice that you observed or implemented, or how your thoughts have changed since the training?
Well, I noticed a lady today at work said to me that I've become a lot more quiet, a bit like you, Leanne. And I was like, oh, okay. And I guess it's maybe because I'm not, there's a lot of negativity at work, and I'm not engaging in it as much, I guess. And I guess that's a good thing. Trying to turn things around with a negative speech and look for more positives in the workplace. And it's having an effect on, I guess, the way people are perceiving me as well, which is good.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Bede. And Layla, tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and you've done the hypno training, haven't you? And but just how NLP has helped you so far as well.
Sure. So I work for a big biopharmaceutical company, third biggest in the world, called Allergan, and we sell Botox. So I've just got a new role as an account manager, looking after clinics that purchase Botox and Juvederm, which is our filler range. So I'm learning that. I'm week 4 in the job. As I was saying, frustration about not getting the system in time and kind of not being able to do my job with the tools. But one thing I did do on Monday was I did a hypnosis, the clarity hypnosis, and I did a couple of roll downs, and I kind of just felt a lot better after that. So I was getting really wound up and quite anxious about it. And then just doing that really just reset and grounded me again. And then what do you know, Tuesday comes and I've got access to the system. So I think I was just,
Yay.
yeah, well, I just think it was probably a bit of, putting that negative energy out there and it not coming back. And I think just changing my mindset. And I think hypnosis was really good. Because I was just starting my new job, I didn't get a chance to do the NLP, so that's something for the future. And I've been listening to the tapes, so I think I'm only up to the audio 13. I'm slowly getting through it as I'm doing my commute back and forth to Brisbane, but it's really interesting. So
yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. And that was a typical example actually from both of them is Anne Leanne is, and also yourself, Hunter, is the perception is projection. And we don't always realize that we're in the negative phase or we're a bit down or we're a bit flat. I mean, who did I see one of you guys yesterday and said, my journaling to this day, my journaling still balances me. It absolutely. If when I do it, I'm good. If I leave my 5 key steps for a week or 2 weeks, if I'm just in a really slack mode going on, just cruising along, I just notice I don't have clarity, I'm not as balanced, and I'm not as focused at all. And I just start to get a bit groggy and a bit flat going, whatever, So it's really, to this day, and I've done it for years and years. And it's also good to remember that you're human. And for what you just said there, Layla, is that going, gosh, I've actually had the tools, but I forgot. But if you got to the training, you would have been on top. But you're not going to be turning up with trainings all the time. It's like that's why the coaching really helps, because it does trigger you little things. But isn't it amazing when we trigger ourselves going, no, I'm not feeling good. Head down, bum up for the roll down, do a hypnosis and a bit of journaling or something. And it just really, if you do the whole 5 key steps, that's when I sort of go, wow, it honestly, it still blows my mind all these years later. So, okay, over to the, you guys, Jody and Troy. So Jay's first, so Jody. Hi, Troy, we haven't said hi
yet. I'm Jody. What do? I'm a bookkeeper. We have our own bookkeeping business. So I work here from home. We have 9 children altogether. Hunter's one of our middle girls. She's one of 3 girls. And 6 boys. What else? We have 5 grandchildren and number 6 on the way. So exciting times ahead for us. We've just come back from New Zealand where we celebrated
COVID.
Celebrated Maddie's 4th birthday, and I got the present. Last 6 days in New Zealand.
And what did you notice since you did NLP, the training? What did you observe since then?
I have learnt to be more open with people and start expressing the things that I am thinking and feeling, which has allowed me to connect better with people, I think is what I've found the most. And I think what people have probably noticed the most about me.
Did people actually say that to you?
Yeah.
I think that's what blows my mind is when people actually say, wow, you've changed or you're different or you can see that they're going, there's something different here. So, but when they actually say something, it's pretty magical.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent. And Troy.
Good to find just yo to the bro beads first off, and
Yeah. The boyfriend.
just do that. You've pretty much said everything. So there's a couple of things I wanted to share. Just it was good just to have Hunter and Jody, all of us doing the training, because now we kind of speak at a different level usually, and I noticed my family noticed it back in New Zealand, especially my mum said to Jody, man, you really love this, what you've been doing, right? Because I think it comes out in the way she explains things when we explain what NLP is. Like, yeah. I must be boring at it. I don't know why she didn't say that to me, but when she said to Jody, you can really tell that you love what you're doing right now. So that was cool to see, and it's just cool to see and share with my boys. Like, I had a day out with the boys, and we talked about things they're going through. Like, my youngest is in counseling at the moment, and which is, it's just sad on its own, but it's good too, because the only reason he's doing that is because he needs help. So it was good to connect with him differently and still have an understanding on the work he's already been doing, and touching on some of the things that we shared and that I shared with him, that I learned with Jane. So that's been really cool. Brilliant. Yeah.
And Troy is Mr. Music. What do you call yourself, Troy?
Yeah, and I'm a singer-songwriter, just so you guys know.
The singing bookkeeper.
Yeah.
You didn't say your signature
I've
line,
stepped away from that. No, I haven't.
Yeah, he's a singing songwriter. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
nice.
Leanne, you'll get the presents, and later again some stage.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Leanne.
Layla's already had Troy's experience once, but he did a new song. You would have heard about that, Layla. So, which was really, really cool as well. And we had the duo with the lovely Hunter. Yeah, we were very fortunate to have in-house singers and musicians. Yeah. So thanks, guys, again. And Nick, or Monique, I can't see your head, Monique. You've still got the beautiful ceiling there. Nick, we'll go next with you. There she is. Nick?
You want me to go first? Okay. What NLP's done for me, we had a conversation just the other day with Jane in a session. I was in really good flow all year, and then the calendar hit some speed bumps. So there was a break here, there's a break there, and there's a break there, and there's a break, and the flow just sort of stopped, or it got pickled, or it just went up and down. And stepping back into that flow, and I've got a client at the moment that I'm dealing with, and I was struggling just to get on top of what should happen with the flow of this particular client. And 2 or 3 days worth of work on it, and I was getting nowhere. And sat down with Jane, had a good old session there, and next morning I sat down at my desk and it just went flip. It's a $1 million client, so it's one I really want to look after, and it just fell into space for that magical reason. Just knowing that mindset, knowing that there is answers out there, and knowing that I could find the answer for it, and also being aligned with the client and aligned with what the deal is all about as well. So it's one of many that have happened in that way.
Yeah, getting clarity, future facing, and what's the purpose of what you're doing. Chunking up, chunking down, guys, is so valuable in everything that you're doing, especially when you're stuck. What's the purpose of doing it? What specifically? So
I didn't actually introduce myself properly. I mean, obviously I know Jodie and Troy and Layla and V and Mon, but Leanne, 27 and a half years ago, Jane said, "I do" to me. Yes, I won.
Yes, that's right.
That's right, but in the whole scheme of things.
Yep. So my lovely husband, who's doing all the NLP, which is just amazing to be able to be doing it together. And so thanks, Nick, and beautiful Monique. Voila, we get the presence of your lovely face. There she goes. Can you unmute for us, please?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's just want to say thank you to everyone for sharing that experience, the ones that are on here that I was doing the course with. It was a great experience, and thanks for the entertainment at the end. I came away, well, it was a roller coaster ride, really. Sunday night, I was down in the dip of the roller coaster and then dragged myself back out of it Monday, and then finishing the course on Monday. It was like, I really wish I had started from the beginning with all of you. I felt like I had missed a few tools that sounded pretty profound. And I would have been able to, if I had done that, I would have been able to explain better today in my network meeting about NLP. And I was trying to explain timeline therapy to a couple of friends the other day. And it was quite amazing, just explaining it gave me a better understanding. You know, when you're telling someone else something or teaching someone else something, it sort of embeds it in your mind, and it's sort of when you're speaking it out loud, it just seems to make more sense. And then I found a solution to one of the issues I had with it, and it was really good. And it was like, oh, thanks, friend, for listening to me and letting me able to work that out myself. So that was good. I feel like I have had less anxiety, and I remember I was working on memory as well. I remember I was working on memory in the timeline, well, in the course, and yeah, I feel like I've improved with that. So yeah, I've also done another course last weekend on awakening the love within, and this week I've just felt so much love around me. It was my birthday, so lots of people were giving me love, but I just really felt it, and that just had a profound sort of effect on me as well, and just, I don't know, just generally a lot more content, I think.
Yeah,
but sorry, I didn't introduce myself properly. I'm a holistic health and fitness coach, so specializing in hypnotherapy, but I hadn't done the NLP. So clinical hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, and also kinesiology and Pilates coaching. And also I do PA work as well. So it's good because I get to mix everything up. Originally from New Zealand, and yeah, living on the Gold Coast for about 8 years now, so 7-8 years, and loving it. And just, yeah, so I just appreciate everything I learn, and I'm trying to listen to the audios and go through the manual, which is a bit difficult sometimes because, like, oh, I didn't even do that in the course. So I'm just, yeah, looking forward to, I think, February to do the part 1.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Did anyone pick up on that? I want us to, while we're on this call, so thank you very much, everyone, and Monique. Monique does work for me as well, part-time, doing my International Netball Festival business. And so did anyone pick up on any words that anyone said that through the NLP training that we try not to say?
Try.
Like try.
Exactly. So we do say that word, and when we do, it's like, I will correct myself and go, you either do or you don't. So are you going to do it? Do you want to do it? Have you done it? Is there a reason, that it hasn't happened right now? So instead, it's the reason why I didn't try. Get more specific? If you get more specific, is there a reason why I haven't done it right now? What is that specific reason? If you put in try, there's a reason I try to do it, you're sort of like off the hook straight away. So it's about wordsmithing yourself, with each other too, with other people too. So what's another one that we work on trying to perfect is when we say something with I couldn't do that because why couldn't you do it? So, well, I could do it, but I chose not to, or it didn't resonate with me at the time. I had other priorities. So if you could or couldn't, or you can, you can't, you're probably right. So it's really interesting when you pick yourself up saying things like that. But being in the classroom, and really amazing to pick up kids of how they say their language and how they're talking, and then how you're talking to them and to other people all the time. When I got to the stage of picking up my language, and if anyone's having conversations with me, I love it if you can pick me up on my language, where if I've not said it, I could have said it more of a positive term, and I could get more specific. It's really fun, and you just call it a wordsmith game, and you keep saying try. Okay, what didn't you try? Or, oh, you can you, or you can't? Oh, you can't do it. Oh, that's interesting. You know, it's saying you cannot, the reason why you cannot, making those excuses. So start playing that game if you wish with yourself. So of course my book's Mind Tricks, and everything is about mind tricks. So playing that. And I also would like everyone to purchase this book, The Magic of NLP Demystified. Now it's online, and Hunter will send it out. It's from Byron Lewis. And what we're going to do is go through that book on these calls too, and really dig deep to find out what is NLP really, what's the nitty gritties of it that we can actually use. So we're getting down to the little bite-sized pieces to understand it at just in more depth, so we can use it more in our day-to-day life, and watch how your life will change. But whoever's done coaching with me or training with me, you just see how your life is just slowly changing. It's like it's just another layer change, another clarity, and then remembering that it's taken us years to be programmed this way. And that's why we keep doing one-on-one sessions with people, because it's years to reprogram to empower the planet to be a happier place for that vibration. Just remember, what I like to remember is that all our thoughts are a vibration. So it's an energy. So when we're having a worrying thought, not even a negative, we all know negatives are, but when we worry about getting somewhere on time, or if I'm good enough, or if I'm smart enough, or if I'm quick enough, or I talk too much, or I'm too this, I'm not fit enough, all those thoughts send a vibration. So remember to play the game of changing the vibration by changing your thought. So we all have the I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. So if you have a thought while you're on the call right now of something, oh, I should have done, could have done, should have done, just say, I love you, name, I'm sorry for having that thought, that I should have done it, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry because it's poisoning my body. And thank you that I got this awareness, and I'll just bench that now because I'm going to get clarity to do it later on. So if we sit here on the whole call worrying about something you should have done, or we're going to be running late, or this or that, the other thing, it actually stops the intuition, and it stops yourself from remembering it as well. So you've got less chance of remembering it when you're worrying about something over and over and over. You've got a way less chance of finding a solution, and for the flow to be flowing really nicely. Okay, so really want to look at that flow. Anytime you're having a gluggy point, remember we've got the I was going to show my app, but I can't because it's not open here yet, but we have got the app. So remember to get on and do the app. Even the roll down, if you turn the roll down on when you do a roll down sometimes, and just listen to me talk you through it, you'll find you'll go into a deeper relaxation, and it will allow your mind to really zero out, so that you'll connect with your breath. Any now and again, just flick on and watch the old webinars as well. The webinars have got so much information and brain churning changes that will go on by the time you've come off a webinar, the clarity that you will get for yourself, and then again the way it's the vibration that's going to go out, is actually phenomenal. When I am doing gym, sometimes I'll just turn on or go for a run, I'll turn on one of my old webinars and listen to it, and I still get a bit surprised about how good the information is and how it actually gets my cogs getting clarity to where it's going to move forward as well. So that's exciting. I want to do a future pace with you tonight as well. So I want you to think of something right now that you want to future pace, that you want to get flowing in your life. You want more of it maybe. And just think about what it is, and then just create an image. Now, feel free to have your eyes open or just slowly close your eyes and allow them to relax. Some people find the imagery a lot better when they relax. So just allow yourself, just think of something, relax with your eyes closed. Think of something that you want to change in your life, you want to improve, you want to get better at, a feeling, a connection with somebody, a belief you want to change, and create that image. And you can also think, is there a time that you've ever felt, had, or done this before? If there is, go back to that specific time and see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel that feeling. If it's something new moving into the future, I want you to create the image and see what the image looks like at the end, the very end of when you've accomplished it. So see the end product, the end thing, the end feeling, and I want you to just really feel it. And I want you to take whatever image you've got, I want you to make it bigger and brighter. I want you to make it sharper and clearer. I want you to make the image bigger, make it lifelike. I want you to increase the feeling. Just really increase that feeling, that positive feeling. I want you to make sure you're looking through your own eyes. And now this image, you can be in the image, but if it's something that doesn't require you to be in it, that's okay too. And just get that image as if it's feeling so real for yourself. If you're in the image, step out of the image. Take that image up above your timeline and look out into the future and float out into the future as far out as you have to, a specific time or an unspecified time where you want to have this feeling, as far out, and then drop the picture into your timeline. Turn around, look at the now, and float all the way back to the now, letting go, just allowing yourself to see how everything is going to happen at that finished product, what you have to do, what you'll say. You'll see things, people helping you, you'll find out the information, you'll have a feeling, to see every event from then to now changing once you've got that desired outcome. And float all the way back to the now and float into the room. Always important to do it at your own pace. We'll always come back into the room at our own pace. Very good. Now you have a note there, other little things we were going to talk about today. Actually, there's something that I want to ask and feedback out there. Was there something?
Oh, I know, just as when you were talking, when everyone was talking about their experiences, I wrote down words, because words I really noticed before I said anything, like being very much more intention in the things that I say. Like, I would love to make time for that, or
Yes.
certain things, or not saying, oh, I couldn't do it, I didn't have enough time, or I didn't make enough time. Or
good point.
Yeah, so like just little things. As everyone was talking, I was like, oh, words was a massive one for me, like being much more intentional. And even when you're saying Bede before, how you were like, when people were speaking negatively, you were just like, actually, I'm not going to engage in this, because there's not actually any benefit from me engaging in this conversation. So I had read that.
Yeah, that's cool. And when negative talking, I talk about this a lot. However, It took me years to really use this with, like, my car not sounding right, or running late. But when people are saying negative talk, it takes a while, is to say the mantra while they're talking. You say it quietly to yourself, I love you, thank you. I love you, thank you, while they're talking negatively. And it's like it just zooms right past you, it just bounces off. And then all of a sudden you'll find that their tonality will change, and they'll become a little more of a calmness generally. But most importantly, it doesn't affect you, and you're not going to feed back that negativeness. Going, oh my God, there they are whinging again over and over. I'm really sick of hearing that. You go, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. When you really realize that the universe knows the longevity of this, you just say, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you, quietly to yourself. And you'll find that the intuition will come to say the right thing, and it will be addressed in a positive, light-hearted way. And when I still do studies with all of the work I do with everyone, is every time I study, I drop into that deeper level of I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And sitting in the energy of the I, self, and the clearing of the mind allows us to get to they call it in Ho'oponopono as their divinity, the mind where it zeroes down and we raise up to be the I, and just they talk about divinity as being where there is no judgment, where it's clarity, where it's peace. So the peace of I, if you email in Hawaii, they always reply back from the peace of I, and just centered as the I, and it's the clearing tool of an I. I have a little pencil here, and it's got a rubber at the end, and it's like my little wand. And what this little wand does is, in Hawaii, the elders did a lot of spiritual blessing through the Ho'oponopono. And it's a bit hooky pooky, but anyway, this wand, I just brush down on all of you guys and now dance. No, just kidding. It's not like that. It's the one is about sending nice energy through. So, but you can use it in an email that you are writing to someone, and you have to maybe address an issue or talk through, or even on your phone, and you're going, oh, that person is really riling me up a bit. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you can actually just, you slide this down. You don't have to touch it, and it just clears the energy. I do it on emails. If I've got an email, it's a sticky email going out, or there hasn't been a lot of clarity with the person, or maybe with the garage being built or whatever. And I'll catch myself in that sort of agitated mood and going, gosh, they're not flowing with this. And it's about turning around and being at course. So the gun, 3 is shooting back. When I'm getting really annoyed with people or a situation or lack of clarity, when I really go, I'm the one getting agitated, I've got to look at what's going on in me. If it's a phone or computer, I strike this down to clear the energy there. I go, I love you, thank you. And I really have to sit, connect with my breath and go, 3, 2, 1 stop is a really good one to stop the monkey chatter. What could I do differently based on the energy that I'm getting? Perception is projection. What can I do differently? How can I think differently? What tools could I use to get a different outcome? Because they're really being a pain in the neck and they're not doing what they're meant to be doing. So what can I change in me? Now, the amount of times, and Nick gave a really good example earlier with a mortgage that he was doing, and he was getting knocked back, and he couldn't find the right lender for this little bit of a tricky mortgage. And totally, when he took cause of how he was feeling and then got really clear of the purpose of this, what he was doing, but most importantly, the person who wanted this mortgage has a very, very high expectation and quite a demanding tone, nearly condescending that, are you good enough to do it for me? And that gives a ripple effect through to Nick. It gives a ripple effect through to me if I'm dealing with a client like that. So I have to go deep in me, and what's the purpose with working with this client? Is there a shift that I can get in me that could help the client? What is the clarity and the purpose of my projection that I want to give out here, and what is the energy I could change? Is there something else going on in my life right now that is actually, as people say, perturbating, annoying me, frustrating me, winding me up, making me feel agitated? And am I actually the one putting it out to that person? And we all know from what we're saying, am I the one putting it out to the person? Yeah. Whether I like it or not, and I honestly did not used to like it at all. I don't always like it now, to be honest, but really, the reality is when I take ownership of it, and we're all going to have shitty days and off days and down days, we were going to, no, I'm not taking responsibility for that. You guys should have been here, and you should have been fixing this or doing that, or your kids or your partner. Nah, you shouldn't have done that. If you hadn't have done this, this wouldn't have happened. I'll still have times, I still do have times like that. But when I pull my head in, when I pull it in and I go, rightio, this isn't working for me because I'm all tight, I'm all agitated, and I'm going, what can I do to actually stick my neck out and take ownership of this? Everything changes. And yes, they might have done that, and yes, it wasn't right by the book. And actually, here's a good example. Got a new garage just big built, and there's 3 sliding doors, and manually they slide down, as we know, and they just brush the ground, and one of them doesn't. And the trades left and said, oh, well, don't worry about it. It'll be right when they turn the electricity on. They'll all come down, and it'll fix itself. So I said, so when we've got no power, which we don't at the moment until they're plugged up, and we have 2 already sitting flush, if we got power, it will work. But what if we don't get power for some reason, it's off? That means we can't close this properly. And they were saying, yeah, but it will be all right because when you've got power, it will close properly. So I'm going, well, that's not really how it works, is it? When you've got 2 working and 1 not, and you don't want to fix that one, or you don't feel you can fix it. And it's a very common thing with trades, is that they'll use excuses to get out of fixing things. So energetically goes into an old pattern in my mind. Oh yeah, this is typical. This is what happens. And then I'm going, wait a minute. If I change my perception of going, it'll be okay and it's going to come right down, but let's go away from the agitated negativeness of that's what trades do. They may all make excuses, and start putting really nice energy into it, going, well, let's come from a different angle. Let's go, I love you, I'm sorry, please be with, thank you. It was an email, so I did a nice stroke down on the email, and I just sent a nice email back going, thank you very much for your reply. It is something that I do hear, that it can correct itself from what I've heard from your trades. However, how would you feel if you had 2 garage doors working properly and 1 not working properly, and you've spent $38,000 on a garage? Do you think it would be fair to have an expectation that they would all come down? So from the frustration, I delivered a completely different email, and who's going to guess what the result will be?
3 doors that close properly.
It will be, because I'm not pushing against them anymore. I'm not going, you should do it, that you trades all just make excuses, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's exactly what happens. So, and it's also, what if they didn't fix it? What if they left it and we got the power on, it all worked? Is it the end of the world for me? Is my life going to end? Am I going to be angry about this garage door for the rest of the life? Look at the garage door going, oh, let's just unplug it and see if it actually works now, or would I just keep going at them and going at them and going at them? What is the purpose of that? So there's 2 ways of dealing with things in our life. Is we can just keep pushing and pushing. And if you get a group of people and let's say they don't fix it, I then have to take responsibility of how am I going to act? How am I going to feel? Is it going to affect me? for the rest of my life with this garage. You know, I possibly won't promote them if they don't come and fix something 100%, but I also vow and declare that I will not bag another company, because what does that send out to the world?
Bad juju.
Yeah, bad vibration, big time. And who's carrying the bad vibration? The negative vibration? I am. Just waiting to tell everyone about what's not good. If people ask me about the garage, I'll tell them that was just one thing that you'd want to look at, is the garage door doesn't quite go down completely. They didn't quite achieve that result there. And there was another thing, that door handle is a bit rough on it. And funnily enough, we got someone just yesterday come in and ask, would you recommend this garage? Tell us about it. And basically that's all we mentioned. But I didn't say they're bad. They put up a beautiful garage. It looks great. It's functional. Guys on site were really good. So there's no energy wasted. I don't want to waste my energy in bad mouthing that one little thing. Okay, so it is really about our perception and where we can look back and actually decide how we're going to act, how we're going to treat ourselves by that energy we give back out. Okay, did that come up? I want to know if, and you answer yourself, is there anything that is bothering somebody where they're a little bit stuck, they would like a little bit of a tip from me to get a better flow with something? Pop your hand up, unmute, and ask me. Layla, have you got something in bed?
Mine's just making what I'm learning stick. Because there's so much information, and like I've got this classroom training next week, but I need to have done all the pre-work, which I've been studying, but like clinical papers and lots of product information, manufacturing,
Yeah.
you know, injection sites.
So what I'm hearing is a lot of information, and you don't know how you're going to make it stick to remember. So when you get asked a question, you know the answer.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone in your industry that knows all that information, that knows the answer to absolutely everything? Do you know any one person that knows?
Yeah, there's quite a few that have been doing the job for a number of years.
Oh, okay. How many years have they been doing the job?
Well, I did a meeting today with one of the girls in Adelaide, and she's been 16 years doing the job.
So just imagine in 16 years, you're going to know the answers.
3 weeks.
Not 6 days. 6 weeks, yeah. So sometimes we give ourselves a bit of a high expectation.
Yeah, true.
Layla, what has somebody said to you recently in your new job about your knowledge and the training?
Oh, I've had good feedback. I'm going to be a superstar, apparently, by our training manager. She's like, you're my superstar. You're my protege. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And how did you feel about that?
Yeah, pretty good. But I also, yeah,
But
I suppose I'm doubting myself.
Yeah, where's your butt? Give us your butt. Go on.
No, it was just, yeah, I'm also doubting myself because I'm comparing myself. And I think the big thing about next week is one of the girls I'm training with has a medical background. So she's done medical science. So she's just going to be all across the clinical scientific R&D side. Whereas I'm more of a people person. I don't think she's got that good of people skills from what I mean, she's a lovely person, but I don't know how she's going to go with building rapport and things like that. But she's going to be so switched on with the science. So I think I'm comparing myself.
How many
But I have to say to Layla, like, how long were you at your last job for?
That's what I was just going to say. How many years was you at their last job?
3.5.
And that 3.5 years, who was the number one in Australia?
Yeah, but it took me 3.5 to be.
Yeah, it took you 3.5 years. So how many people has anyone in this role you've got in 6 weeks known all the knowledge?
No.
So the expectation.
But I think everyone knows me, and I think they're just kind of expecting
No, wait a minute. Has anyone said they're expecting you in 6 weeks to know the knowledge?
No.
And so I think I heard you say the other day that someone said to you, you've got this all sorted. I don't need to do any more training with you.
Yeah, I'm allowed out by myself, whereas
Yeah.
others are being
Sounds good.
holding
By myself.
hands.
I'm matured. So
I
yeah,
heard two things. Can I just say something, Jane?
please do.
I heard two things this week which I thought were very profound, and Layla, you just brought it up for me. Was when you make a statement and then you follow it with the word "but," you've just dissolved everything that you said before you said the word "but."
That was
So
on Game
you've
of Thrones.
taken all of your power away because you said the word "but." What you could say is "and" rather than "but," because then it re-empowers you about how you are looking at what it's about. And there was one other thing that came up for me a bit earlier in the call, was something that we were talking about when Bede answered a question. The next thing that came up for me was a reflection that I don't know how to always express this one properly, but I hear a lot of people go, you know this, you know when this happens, da 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 da. And Jane always talks about reflect on the I, reflect it back to yourself. And whatever anybody else thinks about me is none of my business.
Got that one, Layla? Yeah, take that on board. I think I'll get
I'm writing that down.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
five
that.
hat. Okay, I want to
Yeah.
ask something, Layla. If you say things to Bede about, I'm worried about this or that about other people, and they expect, if he said to you that, are you okay with that as a reminder? No matter what people think about me or expect from me, or what was the saying? It's none of my business.
Whatever everyone thinks about me is none of my business.
Yeah, I've heard that one before too, Nick.
Yeah, and what anyone expects about me is none of my business either.
Mm.
That's your perception. You wouldn't have a clue what people expect about you. So you might as well just put it's none of your business what you think they expect, because it's a mind read. So in the training we did a lot about mind reading. If it's not a fact, we're making it up. We're assuming.
I found myself catching people out for saying that too. Oh, they don't do that. I'm like, did they tell you?
Yeah, did they tell you?
That's what you think? I'm like, well, no. I'm like, so how do you know?
Yeah.
And then so even catching myself out not saying that as well, or you know, mind reading. Like we had our accountability call yesterday, and I said, oh, Jody and Dad are gonna be busy. Like, how do you know that?
Yeah, did they tell you? Yeah. Yeah, that assumption.
Yeah,
we're assuming. So that goes into a lot with the training, and it's amazing that the mind reading, this assuming something, the presuppositions. We did it with John with the blue tree. Layla, you're listening to the call.
Yeah, I remember that. Imagine, yeah.
Giving access to the recordings for the NLP training as well. And yeah, that just is all presuppositions of what did John really think? What did he really say? What's all the presuppositions, you know? So John had there was a blue tree behind John's house. Did he do that? Did he come to did he know it was there before? Has he just discovered it's there before? Did he like it? And there's all these things about what John would do on this blue tree, but it's all just just assumptions, because nobody really knows. So just be really, really clear. Be really aware of when we're assuming things. So Layla, how do you feel now about your knowledge that you should have right now?
Yeah, pretty good, I guess.
Loosen the grip a bit.
Yeah.
Also, we have people like Layla, and a lot of you actually are here like this, have very high expectations of themselves, of what they should know. What I feel that when I start a new job, this is good for Hunter, what I should know, what I want to know. I want to do everything right now. I'm getting judged if I don't do this quick enough. Am I smart enough to do this job? And what oh, they'll expect me of this, they'll expect me this, of that. And that goes on all the time. It doesn't matter how long you've been at a job. Leanne, I know that you've mentioned that too. And the hours of that you spend procrastinating doing work half the time is because you're just thinking, oh my gosh, it's a new system. Do I know it? I should know it. I don't know. And it puts literally the vibration of blockages all the way through it makes it a harder job. So Nick used the example of that mortgage, not finding a lender for that mortgage. The vibration came from the person's personality and the way they spoke. As soon as he pretty much, remember Monique talked about the screen and the training. You can put a gold screen around you so you don't allow that to project into you. Otherwise, once it goes into you, you're projecting it back and it's like a seesaw. You go, whoa, and all of a sudden you can't move forward with helping that person because you're bought into that energy. And quite often it's subconscious. So when I worked with Nick about this one client, it wasn't until I said, what is this client like? What are their expectations? What's their demeanor like when they're asking? It's like, I think Nick said too, it's got to be done by this day, because I want to get it done earlier. Is that what they said? Do they really want that? Is that what they really expect? Or is that the pressure you're putting on yourself, what is unrealistic? So remember about what is realistic about the work you're doing, what you should know, what you don't know. Layla, you also mentioned about she's done all the scientific studies before, and yet you've been in it 3 years as well. I think you're going to be really, really surprised how much more knowledge you're going to know in your industry, because it's on a need-to-know basis. She's just got when you do the science degree, it's very, very general. So yeah, you'll be very surprised, and give yourself a break. And now inner child work is something that I want to work on a little bit in these VIPs as well. Is finding your inner child to love and to connect with that inner child, because we give ourselves such a hard time in life, but based on society and their expectations. So I really would like people to sort of, if you can even YouTube inner child work with other people as well, but we will be with Ho'oponopono. We do inner child. It's a beautiful, beautiful technique, which I'll be going through. Could you pop that down for the next call? It would be really cool to do work with Ho'oponopono, with connecting with that beautiful inner child.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
And that frees us. It gives us a lot of freeing as well to connect with that. Can I just ask a few hands? Who's interested in doing vision boards? Is anyone interested in vision boards? You are?
Layla's got one.
I've got one.
Right now,
What's that?
with magazines and cut out magazines. And
Oh, there's not as many magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking at doing a vision board afternoon, which would be really fun.
Yeah.
And we might have, if Mr. Music comes, there's music here, we'll have some live entertainment as well, which would be really lovely too. So what's the last minute share? We're right on just 2 minutes over 2. If you've got a quick share what you took away from today, Leanne, let's start with you. On the spot.
On the spot, the language, the inner dialogue, talking about, using the word cannot, or yeah, that's something that I definitely need to work on, because it is negative and I do get drawn down into negativity quite quickly. So that's something that I will take away. Yeah.
Brilliant. And Jodie?
For me, I think is probably some of the stuff that you spoke to Layla about, is not being quite so hard on myself and so negative about myself for not being as good as my expectations. Yeah,
Brilliant. And is Troy there?
No, Troy has taken off to band practice.
Oh, the music boy. Excellent. And Monique, what did you get out of it? There she is. What was your takeaway?
Sorry, I was just trying to unmute. Well, to stop trying and just do.
Oh, that's a really good one. Yeah. Yeah, excellent. And Layla and Beat?
For me, getting that book.
Ah, you stole my thing.
Oh, don't.
You keep stealing my things, I want to say.
Just hang on. So I put a note, I think it was when I was listening to the tapes, I put a note in my notes about getting that book, The Magic of NLP Demystified. And it was weird. It was on the 22nd of July. And I was doing an angel card the other day and it came up with listen to the signs or something like that. And I looked at my phone and it was 2:22 on the 22nd of August. So I looked that up and it's all about like new beginnings and like it's just was really relevant. And then now when I look back at the date I wrote that note that about the book and then you bringing it up today, I'm like, oh, it's all coming together. It's all like time.
So when you do the training, you're going to be so onto it. You're going to be advanced for everyone on the training.
Yeah. I was the same thing too. Like I've done the training, but it's all well and good doing the training, but it's about keeping it going and
implementing it,
and not just saying, "Oh, I did the training" and then leaving it. And,
that's what I found when I kept doing coaching after the training and doing a bit of reading and listening to NLP. It's just what really helped me. So I'm going to be putting eventually we get the VIP on the app. So make sure you start using the app, guys. There's a lot of value on there, all about you using it for you. The VIPs for future pacing and a lot of techniques so that you can keep practicing that timeline therapy all the time. So, Bede, what was your takeaway?
That was my takeaway, that I need to make sure that I don't get complacent and just not to keep moving forward with the readings and the tapes and just not sort of fall behind.
So if you're not doing it, what are you going to do?
Sorry, if I'm not doing it, what am I going?
You said you told me what you didn't want to do. So what do you want to do? You didn't want to.
Well, I want to get the book and keep moving forward.
So just picking up on your own language. I don't want to not do any more. And it's like, well, you put the not in there. Oh. It's a bit like the buts. It's sort of like you got to keep going. Well, I want to do this, this, and this, and keep it in the positive. You'll start getting used to it. It's just and catch each other out for it. Just really politely with.
That's a takeaway too, Jane. Then.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. And Foxy, thanks for showing up. Sorry, at the end I'll flick you in. Are you there? Are you going to unmute and say a quick hello?
Sorry, I only just got your message and you said you want some inspiration. I have no idea what this was about. So.
Yeah, did you get any inspiration in this last few minutes you jumped on?
I was just trying to figure out what it was all about. NLP, keeping your language. Yeah, your language is very important to, sorry, I haven't even got the camera on. I am here. Keeping your language, being mindful of your language is very powerful. Learning that, change of mind.
Yeah, change of mind. Yeah, that's right. It is. It's a constant reminder. So remember, guys, this VIP Mastermind is on at the last Thursday of the month. Yep. And we've got the VIP Mastermind Facebook group, which is a private group. It's invite only for that one. And we're going to be working on the magic of NLP Demystify and really digging deep with that. And remember to bring on what you share and what you want some clarity with whenever we jump on these in between your sessions with me as well. So thanks for coming, everybody. We're going to be putting this recording. It's going to be on the Facebook page so that you can jump over if you just want a bit of inspiration and re-listen to this, and of course the future pacings on it as well. So have a great evening, everybody, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.